Going live, and I'm actually doing something a bit different today. Okay, I am live. All right. Okay. Let me let my Facebook people know we are live. We are live with Coffee Talk, and I'm actually going to make my coffee right in front of you. It's like, let's switch things a little bit, and this is where it gets me a little bit behind because I did a little tweaking of having a little bit of coffee ready. Oh, wait. Switch to this. Deep breath. It is Thursday. Oh my gosh, we are at the end of the month. Okay. Oh, I should have done something different. I am so creative that sometimes it just gets me in trouble because I'm like, I want to do this now. Okay. Hello, hello, Facebook friends. Coffee time with Kristel. My coffee cup is actually empty right now, and I'm actually going to do a live of what my coffee is. So my coffee is a chicorée and cafe. Yes, we are going to talk about this topic right here, mortgage rates. But first, we'll talk about my coffee. So definitely join me. You are going to find the link to my live because I'm doing this here. I'm going to do one because I've already had enough coffee to get ready for this. You're going to join me on the YouTube. So join me there. And we have water heated because this is soluble coffee. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to experiment. This is what happens to me. This is live and just being spontaneous. And we're going to go ahead and do a little sipping here. So yes, I have 4 topics today. Of course, join me on my live on YouTube. So we are going to do, I actually do add milk for this, but this was a little bit too much prep, so I'm going to add the rest of my other coffee. This is a mess, Kristel. Inside of it too, I do have cinnamon to give it a cinnamon taste, flavor. But as I was saying, as I'm making a mess here, this is a kid experimenting here. Topic about mortgage rates drop below 6%. I've actually been quoting some clients since December or more, lower than 6% interest rates, because they're just much lower on FHA. But then I'm also going to talk about, what else are we talking about? There are 3 topics. Knock program for somebody who has a divorce is going through and he needs to use equity in his home. Retirement versus equity is another big topic right now. And 2 clients this week actually reached out and asked about FHA. They currently have FHA and they want to go ahead and use FHA as the next property. So join me on that live there. It says on Facebook that I have a low connection. So hopefully you got information. We'll drop the link so you can join me or watch it at a time that is convenient for you because I am definitely sharing some gems there. So, okay. So Irene, definitely please go ahead as I share this live. Give us the link to the Sacred Home with Kristel. And if you are here live with me, thank you so much. And deep breath, Kristel, and deep breath with me. You know, breath is life. Okay. How is this coffee? I didn't put the ash mushroom. Okay, it's definitely water because you saw I did only 1 spoon. Oh, and I do need to go ahead and record. I'm ready. Are you ready? Okay. You didn't show up today for just noise on me doing coffee. I know that. You showed up for clarity. So let's get into it. So welcome to Sacred Home with Kristel. I am Kristel, your mortgage strategist and someone who believes that your financial decisions are never just about numbers. They're about your life, your timing, and your power. So topics that we're covering today: rates, equity for decision in divorce transitions, and mover buyers, and no fluff, and also no fear, just some structure. So as you can see on my background here, rates below 6%, according to the market, they don't create opportunity. They actually give you an opportunity to have strategy. That's what we need. It's a strategy. Yes, the rates have dipped into the high 5s. Middle 5s too, I would say, but this is what the market headline says, in the high 5s. And yes, that matters. But here's what matters even more. how you position yourself inside this window, this little window of average of rates below. So it improves your purchasing power. It also creates more flexibility with your debt to income ratio. So that means you will qualify for more home. And it also allows people to refinance where the math actually is more favorable. But lower rates, what does it do also? It increases competition. More buyers enter the market. Inventory tightens. And the bidding war starts all over again. So this is not excitement, even though I sounded excited. This is actually timing. I want you to reflect on the following, because disciplined buyers, they see the window and they move. Emotional buyers, they see the window and they start chasing. So I want you to ask yourself, are you waiting for the perfect rate, or are you waiting for clarity? What's that perfect rate anyways? Would reviewing your numbers now give you power later? If you knew your exact buying range today, what would shift for you? So if you're ready to move from reaction to a strategy, let's book a call. Book a call. You'll find the information in the link in my bio, and we don't have to guess. We'll just go ahead and structure. That was topic number 1. And I want to go ahead and give you a new headline. Retirement crisis. And it's not just about income, it's about awareness. So one moment. Love technology. Okay. Topic number 2. The retirement crisis isn't about income, it's about awareness. The median American has minimal retirement savings. They say about $1,000. That statistic is everywhere. But here's what's missing from that conversation. Many of those same people have significant equity quietly building in their homes, and they don't even know about it. And they don't even know what to do with it. So this isn't about fear, this is about truth activation. Your home is likely your largest asset. The question isn't whether the market is good. The question is, drum roll, do you understand your position? Do you know what you can do with this equity? So what equity can do for you? It can stabilize your retirement without liquidating investments. It can reduce your financial stress and future decision pressure. Can fund your next opportunity. You can be a mover buyer. You can have some investments. You can change your lifestyle. So all that is possible with equity. And it creates optionality. Choices feel different when you're not backed into a corner. So it gives a little bit of freedom, right? Opens the possibilities for you. I want you to sit with this. If your home value shifted tomorrow, would you know it? If you needed liquidity in the next 12 months, would you feel powerful or would you feel pressured? When was the last time you actually measured your equity position? That doesn't mean you have to take an action on liquidating or anything. It's knowing your number. So power comes from visibility. You can't act on what you haven't measured. So grab the free home report, and the link is in my bio. You get monthly value updates, your estimated equity position, and your real market insights. Zero pressure. You just get this monthly and you can reaccess it anytime you need it. This is awareness that creates authority over your own finances. So find my bio and you will find the home report link and get this report. Okay. Now let's go a little bit deeper now. I'm just going to go ahead and let's go into more of a what's happening, real scenario structure happening right now with Kristel. Okay. Divorce. They can go on my page and use different topics about divorce, but divorce doesn't destroy wealth. Poor structure does. So I want to walk you through a real scenario. This happened between last week and still happening this week in my conversation with the client, because this situation is more common than most people realize. And most people don't know this structure actually exists. We've talked about equity is one of the largest assets people have. So this client has he's in the middle of a divorce negotiation, and that's powerful. Before you sign your settlement, you want to go ahead and have a conversation with a lender like myself, so we can give you strategies and ways to create the answer, give yourself solutions before you actually sign your settlement. So this client has $30,000 that he needs to give to his spouse as part of his settlement. He has existing debt, a little bit over 80,000, closer to 100,000, and we'll need to go ahead and pay those off in order to qualify. And then once we actually have the numbers worked out, he will actually have 5 to 10% down available for his new purchase. And he has equity sitting in the current home, which is basically trapped, but we have a solution. So his pressure is real. He's actually calling me and it's like, I get in the first, I'm like, I have to call you back so we can breathe. I'll say all that to him. It's like, let's take a step back. Let me rework the numbers for you. Let's not just rush, because he's feeling the pressure. If I don't have, which is true on his current settlement that he hasn't signed, he says $30,000 now, and he has about 90 days to go ahead and come up with the money, or he'll have to give her 60,000. Like, he doubles if it doesn't get handled by May. So he does feel the pressure. But every option feels like he might be compromising. So this is where the knock structure changes everything. Let's give me 1 second, because I wanted to share the knock program that I saved. The question is, where did I save it? 1 second. I may have to just go ahead and share as a I really wanted to share this with you. It's right here, Kristel. There you go, the knock scenario. We got it. Okay. So give me 1 moment as I'm going to share my screen. It's bigger. Okay. So the knock allows you to access the equity before your home sells. So you're not waiting and watching what's going to happen. You can pay off settlement debt upfront, which improves the qualification immediately. And thumbs up, we are seeing my knock loan estimate, and we'll go through that. Awesome. Thank you. And you can basically submit stronger offer, because now with this knock program, you don't have a contingency on the next home. A lot of times when clients do back-to-back closing, we need to have a contingency subject to the sale of his house or her house. So this removed the urgency also for him of the 90 days, I'm sorry, to give 30,000, or after 90 days, it would be 60. So there are two. You can see one as a bridge loan and one is a bridge loan plus. So bridge loan plus basically is a structure that removes the departing mortgage payment from the debt to income ratio entirely, which means it doesn't count against the qualification. And after the existing home sales, the remaining equity, because it's only a percentage of the current equity that they will give as a bridge loan, and we can see the numbers here, comparison of 194 versus 675. We're not going to go in detail, but I just want to show you this client is going to have access to 153,000 or maybe 165. So between those two numbers, and basically this gives him a shift of stressing out of her once he agrees to all those terms, where he gains control, because once he finds the right property, we can go ahead and get this bridge loan taken care of for him. And the fee is 2.25% of the actual loan, and there are estimated closing costs in order to actually get this property out of his name to be able to qualify. Which, another nugget to it, she's currently on title. She wants to be removed. She needs to be removed. That's part of the settlement. She needs to be removed from the title of the property, from the mortgage itself. So to be removed from a title, we just do a quick claim. But in this case, she was a co-applicant when I did the financing for them. So we're going to remove her. By doing this program, we are removing her from the debt. We are getting some funds to go ahead and give her the $30,000 right away. He doesn't have to worry about the other 30 because this is done once he's under contract on the new property. And he's able to pay off debt. Remember, I said about $80,000, and he's still going to have funds for down payment. In this situation, it's going to probably liquidate a little bit depending on which price range we're going to stay in, but he has liquidated some of his own assets because as you add 30 plus the 80, it's getting a little bit tight, but the market is still favorable where sellers are paying for closing costs. So we still have definitely room there for him. So this structure restores the integrity of his transition between owning this current home and going into the new property. So again, Knock is a program that you can definitely reach out to me so I can help you with that. And I want you to think about this. If you had access to your equity before selling, would that actually shift your negotiation position with the next property you're purchasing? Because you no longer have to put a contingency, but also in a situation like a divorce or this situation where you have a relocation because of a job in a different state and you have to move pretty quickly. And my other question to you is, would removing the urgency change the emotional state and therefore your decisions? Because remember, divorce is very much emotional. Even though we think, oh, we're done with this and I'm good, I'm ready to move forward, there's still a lot. Because at first she was like, well, yeah, $30,000 work. But she changed everything when she started looking at the numbers even closer. So having the ability to access the equity in your home before you signed your settlement statement or your divorce agreement, I'm sorry, is definitely powerful because you are gaining back power based on numbers, not just emotional. So would love for you, if you are in a scenario where you are needing to access the equity in your home before you actually sell your property, to message me the word knock, Knock, and I'll send you the full FAQ breakdown. No hype, just clarity. Okay. When do I really get involved? Well, I run the numbers for you on this program, but it's getting you qualified for the next home. So in this conversation, we get your pre-qualification as well. The Knock program is more referral or bridge situation for you that I get involved more in getting you qualified for the next home. So again, message me the word knock and I'll give you all of the information you need to get started. Awesome. The last topic, and that one goes a little bit deeper in FHA guidelines and scenarios. So this is buckle up because so some nuances to this one. All right, so buckle up means a little sip of coffee for me. So most people think FHA is just about a down payment conversation because FHA is 3.5%, but it's actually a qualification conversation when we're going from I currently own an FHA and I want to go ahead and purchase another home with a low down payment and I'm thinking I want FHA. And this is one of the misunderstood areas I work in. And it's not because buyers aren't smart. Actually, buyer Ali, who came to me, she had already done some homework and I acknowledge her for that. But I really want to go deeper into it. Okay, FHA loan is designed for your primary residence. Your intent is to stay in this home for about a year. But there are some exceptions to currently having an FHA and moving into another home having another FHA. Some of the exceptions are going to be, we're going to go through exception number 1, the family size increase, which is really Ali's situation, who owns a condo. She just had herself and a baby, and the family size increased. So this is actually one of the most common exceptions that are being used, and we don't really talk enough about this. So having that conversation with Ali prompted me to have this chat with you and share with you. If you currently own a home and your family is not increased, like now there are a family of 5 into a 2-bedroom condo, you may actually qualify for a second FHA without actually selling it or refinancing into a conventional. So what do you need? Your current home size relative to the family size. Like I mentioned, two bedroom, and now a family of 5 compared to, needing an actual single family now with larger size. So you will need a clear written explanation. Again, those are exceptions. Doesn't mean a quick guarantee. But if you're in that scenario, this may work for you. A written explanation of to why the current home is no longer adequate. Evidence that the new property better accommodates the family unit. So of course, you're not going to say, oh, I'm moving into a 1 bedroom now. You're actually going to show that you are moving into a bigger size home to fit all of the family moving in. Both properties must remain, actually the current property can become a rental, but we'll go more about how you can qualify with those two homes. But your new primary is definitely going to have to be your primary residence. By the way, this isn't about just family extending where new babies born or a marriage. This could also work for a multi-generational family. So let's say now you have grandparents moving in with you, right? Because they are needing the assistance for medical reasons, for caregiving accommodations. This scenario can actually work. So the key is documentation. A strong letter explanation that is important as the numbers, as important as the actual numbers for your move. Then there's also exception number 2, relocation for employment. If your job requires you to move to a new area that is not within reasonable commuting distance of your current home, FHA would allow you to purchase a new primary residence with FHA financing. So for instance, I went through a divorce myself. I was living in Atlanta, own a property, FHA. Yeah, when I got divorced, I still had it as an FHA loan, my current investment property, and moved to Florida. Well, relocation, well, it was because of a divorce, but I was over 100 miles and my job changed. I relocated to Florida. So that is also an option. So new employment relocation over 100 miles from your current residence. Relocation must be employer driven, not personal preference. Okay, parentheses, that was my personal preference. And then a job offer letter, which I did have a job offer letter and a transfer documentation. So the employer basically stating relocating to Florida. And of course, this has to be an intent, not as a second home, but as your primary residence. And your current, the original home can be retained, can be rented, can be left temporarily or sold later. It doesn't need to be sold first. This is actually a powerful exception for corporate transferees, military families, remote workers whose role have shifted locations, hence myself. Okay. We have about 2 more scenarios, but let me go into, if you want to hear about the fourth one, reach out to me. But let me give you about non-occupant co-borrowers. So this one is slightly different. It applies when someone who co-signed on an FHA loan and was never occupying the property. So they were a co-borrower, non-occupant co-borrower. And I actually did that. The one time that I did this scenario, this was in 2018, and we're actually friends now. I'm just coming back with this scenario as I'm sharing it with you, where she co-signed with her mom as a non-occupant co-borrower, but she needed to buy her home in Georgia, and FHA was the best option for her. So we used 12 months bank statement to show that her mom has been the one making the payments, and she was a non-occupant co-borrower. She's been renting her own place in Georgia, and then she ended up getting an FHA loan. So this actually also works. Again, exception, documentation is heavier than a regular loan, but it did work. It did happen. We got to make sure, though, never late payments on that mortgage. FHA does allow to have late payments on the mortgage, but when we're going to not count the debt of this person, when you are a co-applicant, we need to make sure there's no late. It wasn't the case. I just want to point that out. So those scenarios go again with the exception. Okay. Just gonna briefly say actually, the other scenario. So if somebody's going through a divorce and this is the only way they can really qualify, we can potentially also get an exception where there's a divorce situation. Now this is going to be your new primary, even though if the property hasn't sold yet and you need to move into your new home, and your spouse is keeping the one property and you are purchasing your new one in distance doesn't really come into play so much. So just those scenarios do come if really the lifestyle change or the family change, job change. So that's when we can document and have an exception. Now, Ali, who is a return client, we basically have a credit score of about 680 for her. So she doesn't want to put 20% down. So we're going to have MI. FHA is actually one, when the scores are 680 or below, FHA is a great option because the MI is less expensive than if you were to go conventional. So in her case, she actually does qualify with both mortgages. So I don't have to get any rent income to offset that payment. So it does work for her because FHA does have specific guidelines when it comes to the departing residents to be able to actually not count that payment. It's different than the conventional. Okay. Something in my head says, you don't have to remember all this, okay? This is just so you know there are some nuances and you got to work with experts like myself, been in the industry for over 25 years. So those nuances are things that maybe you were not aware of and can help you in moving into your new investment, your new purchase. Okay. But then I have a scenario number two, and it's Julie who called me about this client. She wants to only put 3.5% because she doesn't have so much equity. I mean, normally you can go conventional 5%, but maybe it's just a combination of the credit score and down payment, and of course that PMI. But she doesn't really qualify under that exception because the problem with her is that she can't qualify with both payments. Okay, so one way for her is definitely going conventional with 5%. And maybe if we need to, we'll work on getting her credit score higher for the MI to not be too expensive. But there's another option. You can go a conventional loan if, for instance, in this scenario, client is deciding to purchase another home because let's say she's getting married. It's not really the true scenario in this situation, but let's say she's getting married or a child is able to qualify, an adult child is able to qualify on the loan, and they haven't owned a property in the last 3 years. But we can go conventional, adding this co-borrower who hasn't owned a property, and now we can do conventional 3%. So rental conversion, there are specific rules when it comes to FHA. So that's why it goes deeper than just, hey, buying the next property FHA. It's also what are we going to do with the current debt if you're going to keep it as a rental. Okay. I was planning to go more into the nuances, but I think it's get more complex. So what I would invite you to do is, do you actually qualify for the exception? Ask yourself that based on what I shared, and let's have a conversation. Don't, I mean, yes, you can use ChatGPT and try to get the nuances, but get with a lender like myself so I can ask you the right questions. And because it's one thing to use the prompt for ChatGPT, it's another to, yes, but what about this particular scenario, this particular section, right? And let's go ahead and optimize your down payment percentage and have the clearest path for you to have an approval. And let's see, what else can I say about this particular topic? This really gets the nitty-gritty of FHA guidelines. So book a call with me. Let's go ahead and talk about your situation. And we're also going to have um, a guide. So go ahead and message me, move up, and we'll have the full FHA, more of the details that I didn't really go into here of the exception checklist, the rental income eligibility guide, and also the documentation. So really going a little bit deeper into what I just shared. So go ahead and message me, move up, and we'll go ahead and get you the guide that goes through, or the exception checklist for FHA, and we'll be able to structure your decisions before you go into panic. I can't qualify. So before we go into the last topic, which is the section where I go more into my live mystical Kristel and everything, let me go ahead and close out with you that I want to Thank you for joining me on this live every Thursday and watching some of this content that pertains more to you, or sharing it with your friends and family, asking any questions that you have, what other topics you would like for me to share. So today we talked about interest rates, which basically means, the market is going to start moving, but what it also sometimes does is like, wait, I'm going to wait to see if the rates get better. Did you hear what I said at the beginning? The rates getting better and better, sometimes what it does is actually creating more people on the market, which is more competition, which can increase the price. And now you are in a frenzy because your payment is still not really helping you because the price went up, even though the rents went down. The rates went down. So timing is definitely important, but timing is more like right now, right? So book a call. Let's go ahead and connect on that. We talked about equity. Get your home report so you know what your equity is could do for you, or how it's moving. The same as you're getting your 401k statement. You may not be opening all the time, but you do want to check to see how it's moving. Same thing, same principle. And if you are in a scenario or struggling with a situation like a divorce or relocation, and you currently own a home, let's talk about some of those programs. This particular client actually talked to me about Open Door and sent me his offer from Open Door. And Open Door is actually a pretty good option for him because he does have a lot of equity in his home. It's not favorable for all clients, but for some it might be. And then for my move up buyers who are looking to keep the current property FHA to another FHA, those are some of the topics that we covered. So power without structure collapses. So structure without truth. I think I'm doing this. I actually disconnected my my call on my Zoom. Are we there? Hold on, my second screen closed out. Let's see. Kristel, you get so energized, and this is what happens. So here we go. So I would love to help you in building legacy. So keep connecting with me, keep being on those lives. I really appreciate your energy. And for those who prefer just staying with the facts, this is time for you to go ahead and hang it up, like I just did with my second screen. And if you are open to grounding, connecting with the current energies of what Kristel is feeling, of what to share, this is where you stay connected. So this is where I invite you, if you're staying along with me, to I've spoken about grounding yourself, like connecting to Mother Earth. And as I share those topics, depth actually comes through for me, meaning let's go a little bit deeper about what does that mean for you? What does that mean for myself? So in this last week, I've actually been working on connecting, because everything is energy. What is the energy that I'm feeling from Mother Earth, from the ground? Um, Being an empath, I do feel like if I touch something, I can feel the energy and what could be connected to that. Okay, like I said, it's getting a little bit more hoo-hoo here. So today we're not going to go through just grounding into the earth and imagining where you are connecting your field to the gravity deeper than just the surface and going down into Mother Earth. Actually, if you are wherever you are, just kind of look around and connect. It could be the wind. This morning, as I was drinking one of my first cup of coffees, I was feeling the earth. Okay. And feeling the earth by feeling the wind. I was out on the balcony. Then, first thing in the morning, I opened my window and I saw a hummingbird. Hummingbird. So I said, "Good morning," as it was flying over this bouquet of flower. And of course, there's the plants, the trees, all that encompass, all that includes, connects with the earth, because she's giving us the nurturing through plants, animals, the air, the fire, the different elements, right? The ocean. So no matter where you are, it could be snowing wherever you are, that is still part of connecting with nature. When I was actually going through that, what came out was like, yeah, but nature goes through volcano, blizzard, all of those earthquakes, like all those emotions, right? But we want to go deeper than that. We want to go to the heart of Mother Earth. So I basically been practicing deeper on my heart. So when you go within, have you ever heard your heartbeat? Like actually going within and feeling and hearing your heartbeat? Not necessarily by doing the pulse, just like really going within. Not necessarily putting your hand either, just really going within. You can actually place your hand because sometimes it brings that attention there. So connecting with your heartbeat. And hold your breath, allowing yourself to connect within, to your heartbeat, to love, to the essence of what's keeping you alive, your breath and your heart. That's synchronicity. And once you do that, it may take you a bit more time, but once you do that, set the intention. Ask, Mother Earth, let me hear your heartbeat. Let me connect with your heart. There is a specific frequency for the earth heartbeat, like there is for nature. So if you like music, you could do a 432 Hz so you can start tuning your hearing, your connection to nature with 432 Hz or 528. This is the vibration of love. And the heartbeat of the earth. Okay, don't have exactly. I believe it is 7.88. Like I said, I come live and I don't necessarily do all the research and scripting, but it's 7.88 Hz. And that's the earth heartbeat. But you don't have to know all those. It's just some insights. But sink yourself and call forth Mother Earth, Gaia. Let me connect with you, with your heart. Hello, 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 Mother Earth. Mother, because she's nurturing. She nurtures us. She births trees, new places sometimes because of disasters that sometimes open a beach or shrinks it. So connect with the highest vibration, highest energy of the earth. You see, but why would I want to do that, Kristel? Because it's actually one thing to know that you have gravity, you're connected to the earth. This is what's keeping you standing and keeping you on this planet, walking, and gravity. There are the laws of gravity. You don't think about it. But there's sinking in with nature, with Mother Earth, with oneness. And as you do that, there is also the other aspect of connecting with Source, God, divine love. Some call it the light, Source, so many names, but it's really that highest Source creator. Which, by the way, a woman creates, if you think about it in our human. So some actually refer to Creator as the mother, divine feminine, the sun as the masculine, and there's also source as divine father, divine mother. Now, I am not going through a theology or um, all the truth behind those. I actually want you to experience from the seeds that I'm planting in your field to allow yourself to experience, to feel. What resonates with me may be different for you. What's coming up right now is also Again, I am not a scripture person, but the stories that I know about Jesus, who basically spoke in parable, and some people connected with what he said, and some didn't. It was not to put in disfavor, it was more to awaken, to enliven within us was already truth, was already present in us. What I'm sharing with you is not necessarily like your truth for you. Does it resonate? Does it connect with you? When you're connecting with Mother Earth, when you're connecting with Source, with the Creator, with God, with Jesus Christ, with the Lord, all of those connections and words that we were trained to know from upbringing, religion, education, environment, where we were born, all of those. In the end, when you put all that aside and you just connect with your heart's energy, the essence of who you are, and allow to connect with the essence to truth where you feel expansion. If you feel like, oh, I'm scared, I don't know about all this, it may not be the time for you. It may not be the right energy you're connecting to, but you only know that discernment as you keep practicing it. Your body knows, your essence knows. And the more we stay in tune with our intuition, with our evolution, with oneness, that experience becomes unique, becomes yours. So when I do this invitation to connect, it's truly an invitation from your heart to the depth of what the purpose of our life is. Does it expand you? Does it seed that I'm planting in your field a possibility of expansion in a direction similar to mine, or a direction that is more adequate for you, that is unique to you? And it's okay, right? The uniqueness, the my own gifts, your own gifts, they are individualized while still connected to one another, which is why power of YouTube, the power of Zoom is to create that interconnectedness, is to create communities that are more in alignment or less in alignment. And really, it's not about more or less, but it's like as we move into our own field, our true divine spark that's within us, that's evolving, that's growing, that is expanding, the community forms. My community has shifted over the years. I was actually thinking about that this morning. And it is both exciting and also grief as the human emotion that comes through. It's like, wait, I'm letting go of this particular because it's no longer serving. So my invitation is you keep on working on, not working, you keep on being connected to your essence, to your heart, to the heart of others. Allowing ourselves, allowing myself, allowing yourself to see the Christ within self and the Christ within the other. This is beyond just the Jesus Christ scripture. This is the unconditional divine love, unity, oneness, pure love. That my experience will be different from yours. But we know one thing. It feels yummy. It feels expensive. It feels connected. It feels aliveness. It feels like joy, bliss. David Hawkins has a cone that many people talk about, and it's like a funnel as to the enlightenment, like the contraction and the openness. It's like at the bottom, it's more of the fears, the disconnections and the anxiety and all. And the more you raise your vibration, your energy, your connection to love, you get love. I don't have it right visible right there. It's just from memory of we have love. You then go into and the energy of peace, the energy of joy, the energy of bliss towards enlightenment. Be like Christ. loving one another, loving our neighbor. And then the story comes, well, yeah, but what about the ones that I'm no longer connecting with because I had to let go because of their toxicity? When we let go, it is not necessarily let go with like, oh my gosh, I hate this. No, no, no. Allowing each one of us to have our journey, knowing that we're all moving at different pace because of different commitments. My commitment since divorce, breakup from a loving relationship has been more, let me learn more what true love is. Because love that hurts, that's a little bit more conditional. I want to know what pure love is. Love like Jesus did. Love like so many teachers come from that aspect of love without attachment. It's the path that I've been on and I continue to be on. It's a journey that is not ended. It's actually just scratching the surface as I realize as I keep going further. So again, today, this topic of mystical moment with Kristel. Kristel's sacred home is love, your heart, connecting to Earth's heart, divine heart, and the heart of one person at a time. I thank you for tuning in. If this resonated with you, amazing. If it didn't, it's okay. Any comment you want to place, feel free. We'd love to hear your feedback. Not so much as a validation, but more as a conversation, because the feedback you provide allows me to grow, evolve, introspect, and it allows you to speak your truth. Now, definitely welcome more of the loving, but it's all okay because this is what you feel like expressing, as I'm expressing from my divine throat expression. As I keep on evolving, I keep on sharing, as we are transmuting the lower energies into light, into love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful Thursday, the end of February. Here we go in March.